Hey guys, I'm Shannon the Garden Girl from Georgina Garden Center. I thought I'd just give you a quick tour of my veggie garden. Now, my veggie garden I didn't plant in the ground. I used a whole bunch of big pots, about probably 10-gallon size, and I just find it easier. I don't have to weed as much, and I kind of had them spread out all over the place because I don't have a spot for just one garden. So I thought I'd just give you guys a quick tour and see what's going on with it. So here is my horseradish. This one is a perennial, so what I'm going to do, because it's in a pot, it won't survive over the winter in a pot, is I'm going to stick it behind my shed, and hopefully it won't get much sun on it. It will keep it frozen. But that's my horseradish, and I did plant some beets around it, so those are my little beets coming up. Well, hopefully they'll last. I'll show you when I get to my other beets. Something tends to enjoy my beets when it gets to a certain size. This one here is beans, and I just planted them about a week ago, so nothing's coming up yet. These are my other beans that I planted a while ago, and you can see that there's blooms coming, so I'm just going to get beans quite soon. In this container here, I have, trying to get, so the sun doesn't shine too much. Sun shining's nice, but this is a purple peach ghost hot pepper. And in behind, I have some lettuce growing. As you'll see as we go on too, I plant lettuce in behind things or in shadier spots because in the heat, it bolts in the sun or in the heat. And you get bolting is when it turns to, it goes all to seed first before it actually produces the leaves, because lettuce is a cool crop veggie that it doesn't like the heat. But my purple peach ghost, it is a type of ghost pepper. First time I've seen it this year, so I thought I'd try it out, and I have one started on there already, but I have lots of blooms on this one, so I know I'll get lots on there. And then I have my basil, which you guys have seen in a previous video, and my oregano and more basil. Back here I have, this is rutabaga, and kind of like a turnip. A lot of people call them turnips, but this one's a rutabaga. And as you can see, it's lots of holes in the leaves. I had some little green worms having a little feast, but I think I've picked them all off now. I don't think I have any left. I check them out every night or every second night just to make sure that I've gotten them all, but it seems to be so far under control, and they'll be fine. I caught it soon enough that it shouldn't affect the vegetable production. There's another leaf lettuce. Like I said, I plant them more in the shade. It gets a little bit of sun, but it's very shaded by my oak tree here and the fence. So that's starting nicely, and you can see that those are bigger than those because I planted that side first. I didn't want all my lettuce done at the same time, so I did it in two different plantings. That way I can enjoy a harvest longer. And then over here, I have a Carolina Reaper, and I grew one last year and had great success. I thought, why not try again? Oh, look at this. So there's the green worm that I said I was picking off all my rutabagas. He's over here on those are radishes. So I will kill him. I won't show, but I'll have to go through these guys and pick them all off. But the ladybug on there, that's a good thing. Ladybugs are good. They eat all the bad bugs. So in most of my planters, I have planted like a big plant, like a pepper or tomato, and then planted something little in it, which they'll be harvested shortly, and then the pepper will be left on its own, so it'll be good. And it's just good for small spaces when it can double up like that. This one here is my Serrano pepper. Sorry, it's hard to see in the nice morning sunlight here. And in behind, I also have some, I believe those are radishes back there as well. That one's I think I said my Serrano pepper. This one here, I'll see if I can get a better angle. This one's a tomato plant. This one that one's my Campri. So it's a little bit, it's bigger than a cherry tomato or a grape tomato, but it's smaller. It's probably smaller than an early girl. So it's like a small to medium size, but you can see all the tomatoes starting underneath. Okay, that's a nice size one. My next one is a rainbow blend. It's a big slicing tomato, but all the tomatoes are different colors. So there'll be red, yellow, orange, purple, a whole bunch of different stuff. It's an heirloom. And you can see I have it staked up on sorry guys, the sun is, as nice as the sun is, it doesn't help with my showing you guys. I have multiple stakes in there to hold him up. He's coming along nicely. And then this guy here, he is a banana, like a cherry banana. So he'll be yellow. He's over 6 feet tall now. I have multiple stakes in him too to hold him up. In behind this guy, I think I had beets planted. Beets or radish, can't tell now, but someone has eaten the tops, all of them off. I usually get the tops eaten off or they get dug up. But as you can see on my tomatoes too, I take all the bottom leaves off and everything just so it helps not to get splash up on the leaves when you water it, which helps with disease and things. And there's lots of good airflow in there. And I do trim out some leaves and suckers every now and then on there as well. So that's my big yellow pepper. Oh, and I think there are some tomatoes started. Yes, there are. There's some started there. You can see they're pear-shaped and they'll be yellow. These are my beets and they were looking good, but yeah, something digs them up almost every night once they get to a certain size. But I keep trying. I keep planting new rounds of it. Then over here, this one I just started some more beets as well to see if they'll start. And I have some eggshells in there from before just because something, like I said, was digging it up. I thought the eggshells might deter them. Hasn't really, but it's good for the soil. This one here is my snackable pepper. So they're just little tiny mini bell peppers. And I do have one started on them as well. It's under here. There's my little pepper started. So I'll just wait till it turns color before I pick it. And then this guy, he's a big one. This is my midnight snack tomato. It's over 6 feet tall as well. Sorry guys, it's hard to see with the sun. But there's lots of tomatoes starting on it. They're cherry size and they'll turn really dark purple. I've never had them before, so I'm excited for those. And you can see this one too. I've trimmed off a lot of leaves on the bottom just to keep the good air circulation. When you water, you don't get the splash ups, less disease, and you don't need the lower leaves. That one I have a few beets planted underneath too, just to see if they'll start. Just because I've been having trouble with the animals and pests around. I have cucamelons here that I started from seed. I have to train them up on the fence somehow. I might just get some netting so they can grow up. And then I have my last thing of lettuce. So this one too I've planted in 2 stages. That one I planted first, that one I planted second. The other day I did come out and notice something ripped them all up. So there's little pieces, something dug through, but for the most part it seems to be pretty good. I'll probably harvest some of those in the next day or 2 for a sandwich or a little salad. One thing I do with my tomatoes is, because you see eggshells in there, but eggshells are a lot. What I do is when I make hard bugs, I save the water and the eggshells, and I use that to water especially just my tomatoes with it. Well, I water, I think, my peppers with it too, just to try it, but I mainly keep it for my tomatoes. It has added calcium in it, and then you don't get your blossom end rot and stuff like that. So I do water my tomatoes with egg water, and then the few times I did add in, I just crunched up the shells really small and added them. I've also used, sounds funny, if I do a foot soak with like Epsom salts, not with soap or anything like that in it, just Epsom salts, I'll save the water and let it cool, so the next day or 2 I will use it to water my tomatoes, because tomatoes like Epsom salts as well, it helps with them. And I've been doing that with them since they were little tiny guys, from when I first planted them from the cell pack, and they've been doing well. So I want to see if it actually changes the fruit production, like if it makes it any better or anything like that. But it definitely hasn't hurt them, and they've been doing really well, so touch wood. And I don't do it that often. I probably only give that to them every couple of weeks. I wouldn't do it every single time I have the Epsom salts, but they seem to like that too. So 2 little tips, we'll see if that works. And I'd like to see how your guys' garden's going. But just to show you, it doesn't have to be in the ground. It can go in containers. And I use potting soil. Always use potting soil if it's not right in the ground, no matter what you're putting in the pot. But I'll keep you guys posted on how it's going. And if you didn't see my video from the other day about my basil, look that one up too, and see how I pruned back all my basil, because it was massive. But I will touch base with you guys again, and maybe in a couple of weeks, to show you how everything's making out. See you guys.